Guys, I think Jim Rutherford just confirmed the Vancouver Canucks are going to be nuked. And the reason this is a big deal is because earlier this morning, we saw ourselves a post made by Gary Mason on the Globe and Mail. There is no good solution in the rift between Elias Pettersson and J.T. Miller. Look! Everything was peachy, squeaky clean in Vancouver the past few days. They beat Washington, they beat St. Louis. For the first time since December 1st, the team has won 2 games in a row. And they looked good in these games. St. Louis, of course, not the best team in the NHL, but Washington, the top team. And everybody was like, wow, Vancouver, are they back? Are they going to start winning again? Miller is looking good. Pettersson's looking engaged. Hughes is dominant. Kevin Lankinen's the starter. Vancouver is starting to turn the tides around, baby. And then Jim Rutherford comes out with this, and you can't read it. It's behind a paywall. 99 cents for the Globe and Mail. I'll leave a link in the description of this article, as well as our ExpressVPN affiliate page. The show is brought to you by Express. Use our affiliate page in the description to save some money, get some free months, and support the channel. But today we are diving into Jim Rutherford's tactical nuclear commentary on the Vancouver Canucks. And we're going to go over to some tweets. We'll go over to sportsnet.ca because this post made by Sportsnet staff goes out there and transcribes a lot of the commentary that Rutherford has, some of the juicier quotes. Obviously, this is not a substitution for the entirety of the article that was posted on the Globe and Mail, but this is here, and I think it is noteworthy to dive into some of these thoughts. Vancouver Canucks president of hockey ops Jim Rutherford does not see any way to keep Miller and Pettersson happy together as teammates. Imagine me and you. I do. In an interview with the Globe and Mail's Gary Mason published Tuesday, Rutherford said he doesn't think this group can stay intact. I felt like for a long time, there was a solution here because everybody has worked on it, including the parties involved. But it only gets resolved for a short period of time, and then it festers again. And so it certainly appears like there is not a good solution that would keep this group together. The soap opera-like story, a reported rift between the two star forwards, has been dominating the Vancouver headlines for months. The Canucks are believed to have explored trade possibilities. One of the latest reports from Sportsnet's Elliotte Friedman this past weekend said the Sabres have held talks with the Canucks about Petey. Rutherford told Mason he has held talks with both players to try to get them to see if they could coexist for the good of the team. We've had those conversations, and I think the parties, the players, they understand that, and I think they've tried. As you know, sometimes emotions get deep, and as much as people try, sometimes you can't get over it. It certainly appears that's what's going on here. Rutherford admitted it's not a good situation for the franchise, just one season after the Canucks won the Pacific and advanced to the second round of the playoffs. The Hurricanes' blockbuster trade for Rantanen last week may have made things more challenging for the Canucks. Carolina was believed to be a strong contender for one of the top 2 Vancouver forwards. We're talking about 2 of our top players, Rutherford said, certainly our 2 best forwards. It can be really tough on a franchise, not only present but into the future, when you're planning on peaking this team into a contending team, and then you find out that's not going to happen. Or at least, it's not going to happen with the group we have now. Then, you have to put together a new plan. Jim, man. Hey, this is what they were talking about, right? How about a thank you, Jim? Thank you, Jim, for going out there and stirring the pot and just dropping a nuke on this fan base. Vancouver is now getting all the confirmation in the world from the team's president that there is no solution here. He thought there was a solution, but it's not getting resolved. It gets resolved for a short period of time, then it comes out again. He had talked to both Miller and Pettersson, and they both told him, yeah, we could try. We want to coexist for the good of the team, but they can't. Rutherford said sometimes emotions get deep. You can't get over it. We're talking about 2 of our top forwards. It's not going to happen with this group. They're not going to be a contending team. That's not going to happen. Oh boy. Vancouver, guys. We need to breathe in and we need to breathe out. This is a pretty big bombshell. Now, let's go over onto Twitter, read some of the thoughts that have been talked about. Chris Kant said this. So let me get this straight. Management knew there was a long-standing rift between Miller and Petey, yet they traded Horvat and locked both of these guys into long-term deals. This isn't just on the players, it's equally a failure on management's part. Management took a big risk, and it backfired. They wanted to keep Horvat, but the offers teams made for Miller weren't even close compared to Horvat's. And even today, that's still the case. They decided to trade Miller in November, but they still can't get a deal done. And that, I think, is something you do have to acknowledge in some capacity. Hey, like, the Canucks wanted to keep Horvat, but they weren't able to get much from Miller, so they decided to trade Horvat instead. Keep Miller. He was a 100-point player. Great. But hey, guess what? If you have a 100-point player like you had last year in Miller, you're not going to trade him right then. They wanted to trade him earlier. Then he stunk. Then he was bad. And he took a leave of absence. And a lot of people didn't want to trade for him anymore. And now it's gotten to this point where Jim Rutherford is literally saying to the media, yeah, these guys are beefing. These guys are not having a good time. To everyone asking, Vanessa said, why the Miller-Petey rift is happening after being teammates for 6 years, it's because Pettersson is now the 5th highest paid player in the league, and JT Miller is holding him to that standard. So JT is pissed that Petey got a lot more than him? Got it. JT is not the GM, coach, nor the captain. He should stick to hockey and learn something from Hughes instead of trying to be a boss. This, actually, I think, is a pretty common thought process that a lot of people in Vancouver have talked about, people in my personal life and people whom I've had conversations with, like, hey, why is Miller like that? Well, sometimes you got guys that are just like that. And I think at this point, Miller is like 32 years old. He's not going to change. We know that. And with Jim Rutherford already speaking to both of the players independently, saying, hey, you guys got to work it out. Like, you got to stop being so hard on each other. Just coexist, please. I don't know, of course, what exactly it was that Rutherford said, but that was kind of just a educated guess, I guess you could say. Let's go over onto more tweets here. Buck Foston said, Rutherford and Alvin are not sure if removing one of either Pettersson or Miller will fix the problem, and then it's the same quote, we'll just have to wait to find out. We'll have to take it a step at a time. If we try and do it too fast, that's really when you can make some mistakes. Canucks president Jim Rutherford confirmed there's a Miller-Pettersson rift going on in the locker room. When specifically asked about distractions in the rooms for both of those players, he said, yes, yup. And that also was talked about on Halford and Bruff in the morning as well. The quote where it's like, yes, yup, it's Pettersson and Miller. Is it Pettersson? Is it Miller? Are those two guys the guys that are not finding ways to be good together? Yes, yup. That's the exact thing right there. The best game of the season followed by this. I'm not blaming Gary, the writer, but this is just so Canucks. Also, this is basically Jim Rutherford saying, everyone send me your trades. I want 31 offers on my desk by Monday. Jeff Patterson said this, I've now got people in my mentions telling me that because the players themselves have denied it, Rutherford's comments hold no water. That this whole situation is still a case of the media making too much of it all. Again, because the players have denied it. So there's that. Yeah, guys, I think we gotta take the L on this one. Not that necessarily I think a lot of people on this YouTube channel's comment section were saying that there wasn't a rift. I mean, there were some here and there, but like, yeah, no, I think Jim Rutherford's probably speaking out about this for a reason. He's not gonna go out there into the media and lie and say that the two best forwards on the team are just beefing when they're really not. I don't think that's really a profitable thing to do as the GM or a president of a hockey team. And finally, let's go out there and talk about this tweet by Cody Severson. I felt like for a long time there was a solution. It's the same quote that we had seen from Rutherford. What an embarrassing indictment of their character. Can't handle working with someone you dislike for tens of millions of dollars, 8 to 10 months of the year until retiring in your mid-30s? Try doing it every day of your adult life for peanuts. You're 31 and 26. Grow up, Miller and Pettersson. I'll leave you with that. I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Articles will be linked in the description, the Globe and Mail piece as well as the Sportsnet piece. Go out there and check out ExpressVPN for some savings on your VPN. It helps out the channel as well. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section about Jim Rutherford. speaking out about the JT Miller Elias Pettersson rift. It's real, folks, and I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.